Welcome into episode 140 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, host Stephen Loeffler at Junkwax Twins, Ben Wilson at our trading card, Tim Scheffler at Big Chef 79. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors, hoping to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube and Facebook Live. Periscope will miss you. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're available as a podcast everywhere. You can find one. Just ask your Alexa. And follow us. Check out the website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. We have a very special guest. We have a Mount Rushmore collector, hobbyist with us tonight at Cardboard Icons, Ben Aguirre of, just internet fame. What's up, buddy? How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Hey, I'm doing well. I got to go pick up some 72 tops today, 2 for $1, and knocked off about 30 or so cards off my list, and a couple of them were in the 700s, which is nice. And picked up a couple trouts for a sweet little deal. So it's fun. What have you guys been up to? Anything? Steph's on mute, which is awesome because I don't know you realize he's on mute.
Good stuff.
Good to hear you. Is Whataburger's not kicked in yet?
It isn't actually, but
Whataburger Wednesday.
It is. No, I was going to say, is it really a pickup if you're not showing it to us?
Well, hold on. There.
Oh, wait,
and then
you came in top loaders too?
Some are top loaders, some in Ultra Pros. They're all going to go in a binder after the show tonight.
Added value.
You may have got a better deal on those than the cards themselves.
Yeah, for sure. And because the thing is that the one thing that was funny is this guy was buying some 87, 88 clear basketball stickers, and he was going back and forth like with one of the guys, and he's like, "Man, we even put them in these expensive top loaders for all the customer service." And the guy had brought him in, and like there was one guy selling to the store, and then they came just like loose, and then this other guy came in to buy them, and it was a whole thing. It was funny to see, and I was like, "Yeah, you charge like $40 for a pack of 25," and dude, like to be honest, that's probably a pretty good deal right now because I went to the distributor last week and I picked up 1,000 or 100,000 penny sleeves. And I was trying to buy 2 cases. I was limited to 1, and I was trying to pick up a case of top loaders, and I got half. So I just felt I felt good just getting what I was able to pick up, recently. So, but Ben Aguirre, any big additions to the PC lately?
I've got one. Replaced my Mike Trout autograph situation here. I've been without one for a couple of years. This is a 2013 Panini America's Pastime.
Okay.
It's a duel with
Strasburg, which I actually really like because it's kind of like the bookends of the 2010s if you go over hobby. God damn, this is terrible. Yep, there we go. So it's a book. Yes, there are no logos, but the card looks awesome. So finally plugged in the hole.
Yeah, and if you think Strauss was like the start of the comeback, I think, of the hobby. That brought a lot of us that like came back into the hobby. He was the hot thing at that point in time, and he's had a good career. And I mean, I think he's kind of been overshadowed a little bit and forgotten about in the hobby because doesn't have an exclusive with Panini now, and so he's not shoved down our throats all the time in tops, or at least he did it for a little while there.
I believe for sure on autos or on set wise.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What was that?
Mr. Ben Wilson, anything you've been adding lately?
Yeah, just trying to get the last of the Maguires. I was finally able to pick up the purple silver pack, so that was pretty slick.
Nice.
So yeah, it's interesting to see the associated cost of trying to put together a small rainbow like that from just like 3 years ago when they were doing the 83s all the way to now where they're doing the 86s. I mean, it's, you got to get 5 of these things, and you could get them for probably under $100 3 years ago. And now, hopefully my wife's not listening, but you're probably looking at $300 to $400 for the same 5 cards. If you want to go all the way down to the orange out of 25, I mean, at $70, that damn near would have paid for all 5 of them just a couple years back. So, it's just the world we live in. It's just interesting to see when we start to analyze the associated cost of it all.
Yeah, and what's funny is that you talk about that. I've been trying to find like the Posey parallels and of that, and then also too is the just the base card parallels. Man, like it's been ridiculous to try to find one, and then like I do, and it's like priced like, hey, here's the Father's Day at a 50. It's $85. I'm like, no, I'm good, dude. I'll wait.
Yeah, it's I ended up splurging a little bit on the Topps Chrome Sapphire parallels. I was able to get the orange out of 25 and the green out of 45 for fairly decent prices. I hadn't anticipated doing those ones, but and the Topps Chrome Update red out of 25 I was able to snag as well. But the problem is you just aren't seeing a lot of them. And I got Nick Duante, a good friend of the show, had the Ginter Chrome Gold Ricky Henderson out of 50, which happened to be the 10th out of 11 I needed, or excuse me, 9th out of 10th I needed for the team set. Just missing the Matt Chapman. I recall seeing 2 or 3 of them before. So the law of averages, the wise man would suggest I will see another one eventually. But the realist in me is like, you know what? I don't know that I'll see another one, even though there's probably 45 or 46 more that have not come to market, at least through eBay. And the reason is how much of that stuff's being sat on? How much of that stuff actually got distributed? So although I need a needle out of that haystack of a set, one specific numbered one, who knows? Maybe one pops tomorrow, maybe one pops tomorrow, and then 5 pop over the weekend. You never know. Maybe I never see one again and kick myself for not picking up the last one.
No, and that's the scary part, and it's dumb to think that way, but it's like, do I just do it now, but way overpay just to know I have it? So, I don't know. I think that's an interesting conversation as we get more and more into this year and the baseball releases and seeing what's hitting, and also some of the basketball stuff coming out. So, let's just hop into it. We got a busy week, I think, this week on the show. So the week that was last week's releases, Topps Living Week 155, we had Andre Dawson, card 391, Andre Dawson, Hall of Fame outfielder, Montreal Expos, card 392, James Kernachuk, pitcher, Cleveland Indians. I did not see a print run on these guys. I'm going to double check real quick. Again, we had a Hall of Famer. We had a current player in the set. And the print runs have not been updated. I don't know. I don't expect a crazy week. I think Dawson, it's good that he's an Expo, but I think he would have got more love as a Cub. But we will see. And we also had 2020 Leaf Flash Baseball drop as well.
That should have been muted. Thanks, James.
Hot off the presses, this week's new releases. Topps Living Week 156. Card 393, Carlos Correa, shortstop, Houston Astros, and card 394, Max Muncy, first/second baseman of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Former Oakland A's great.
Was he?
That was no. I don't know. We have Correa and Max Muncy. Not a. I don't know. It's really hard now because, man, think how collectible those Astros guys were. Springer, Altuve, Correa, Bregman. And now it's like, oh. It's kind of like when you see your A-Rod cards and your Sammy Sosa cards, you're like, oh. Like 2011 Altuve update was like everybody was after it. And now it's like, whatever.
right?
I was going to buy all.
Now's the time to pick one up.
I was going to buy all of the XAs, and Muncie technically qualifies, but he's not really an XA in the same vein. But then I was like, well, you got Correa. I have 6 more days to decide whether or not I want to add Correa to this or not. I'll probably kick myself if I don't, but I'll probably kick myself if I do. You know, for
I mean, I think the cards look pretty good, and I think this is the first/second base we've ever had in the set.
I just noticed it.
Yeah, we'd have to.
And Ken wants us to start covering the WWE living set. If they released people in the set that I knew,
they did
like
Undertaker.
I mean, did they Undertaker?
This week's a good week.
This week, but the first week was good, and then if Undertaker's this week, that's great. I just think that everybody in the middle has been really just like lackluster. Is that just? Am I not? I don't know wrestling, but I'm just like. All the properties you have, and those are the all the people you could go with, and that's going to be your first 6. Like, okay.
Well, when they dropped this idea, I was really excited because I grew up like all of us, right? Wrestling fan in the '80s, and I was like, I'll get Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Undertaker, maybe Mick Foley because I met him.
$1 Million Man,
maybe
yeah, Ted DiBiase, right?
Triple H, maybe a handful of them. I saw the Undertaker this week, and it's too cartoony for me, and that's just a personal opinion. It does nothing for me. It doesn't excite me to want to reach into my pocket for a $5 outside of my PC, right? Project 70 this week had Ricky Henderson drop, so it was like, all right, I'm going to try to stick with all of the A's throughout I imagine there's going to be a lot less in Project 70 just because all of the artists have so much more options. But I was like, yeah,
to choose from.
Let me grab maybe a half dozen of these, maybe a dozen of them, the wrestling living, and I saw the Undertaker this week, and I'm like, save me a lot of money.
One of those things where I didn't buy the first week. I liked Austin was my guy, but I didn't want to start another project because I know how it is. If I start one, then I got to keep going with it. I'm going to get sucked into it just like I was with Project 2020. And Project 70 is starting this week, and this month. So you just kind of have to pick and choose. You just can't collect everything. And wrestling just isn't. I just don't collect those cards the way that I do baseball.
Yeah.
So I just decided to stay away.
No, you can't. And you know what? Yeah. The good thing about Project 70 is none of them have appealed to me whatsoever, so I've been okay there. I've looked, I'm like.
What's funny about that project now is that everyone's starting to get those first couple of waves, and everyone's talking about the Tatis Erms, how collectible it is. Or how expensive it is right now resale. Too much flashbacks.
Yeah,
well, and especially when you can buy it when the program's open.
We saw this with Topps Living Baseball, and everybody forgot or didn't know what was going on, and people had to go back and buy the first, dozen or so, and we saw how much those escalated. Project 20. Was another one, and then 2020, and then going to Project 70. It's like we all knew now. There have been plenty of these programs. We're all smarter. We've seen what happened with Project 2020 to the point where either you got in day one or you didn't. There's no excuse at this point to be, willfully ignorant. Oh, well, now I want the Tatis. You didn't want. They literally gave you 70 hours. They gave you an extra day damn near to be able to collect this particular one, and I know a lot of people jumped on the first 3 for $50 just in case people had buyer's remorse for not buying it. I should have bought it. Okay, well now I've got some for you. I really thought that those first 3 were going to have extremely significant print runs, like in the tens of thousands, for that very reason, that people were just going to hop on the Ermsey Trout bandwagon, and same thing. I'm going to buy the first 3, and I'm going to buy the 5 of each of them just to see.
I wonder if some people took the wait and see approach and figuring that everyone was going to buy the crap out of those first 3 and said, "I'll just wait for the secondary market," and then they missed it. So now that market's up, but I don't know what the number. I honestly haven't been thinking about it. I just can't. It's too much.
It is interesting though, and I know this isn't what we're going to be talking about here at this portion of the show, but Jacob Rochester's today was a little different. I forget which player he did, but it was different than his Project 2020 style. Sophia Chang did the Bellinger, which was completely different. And I saw the Mike Schmidt, and I was like, which artist crapped the bed on that? And then I saw that it was FDOT, and I was like, well, I actually really enjoyed his 2020 stuff. And it's completely different. It looked like a kid did it, and that's why I personally wasn't a fan. But it's kind of interesting to see some of the Project 2020 artists move into Project 70 and not just be more open to who they can do and what they can do, but like completely changing their artistic style. It's just, it's definitely interesting to say the least.
I would agree. I mean, I think that Ricky was pretty neat that came out this week. But you know, it's like, I don't know. I feel like is how I feel right now on the set. So we'll see. I mean, when a Breck comes out, I don't care how you know poor it might look, but I'll end up buying it because that, you know, I'm gonna have to just mentally. Let's get into it. Here we go. 1920 Upper Deck Clear Cut Hockey dropped today. $130 a box. 1 pack per box. 1 card per pack. It's gonna be an autograph card. There's 75 subjects in there. There are 4 groups. Group A is 1 in every 432 packs. Group B is going to be 1 in every 354 packs. Group C, 1 in every 76 packs. And your most common is Group D, which is 1 in 14. It's the second year for the release. It's acetate on-card autographs. The base autos are featuring veterans, follow 1 in 11 packs, and the base rookie autos are 1 in 4. So most likely you're going to probably pull a rookie autograph. Hey, it's not too bad. That was a good rookie class. Upper Deck Canvas autos are available. The Black Amber autographs are a new addition this year, which were pretty cool because it's like a black acetate card. And the one they're showing here is a Patrick Kane with like gold ink, which is pretty cool. And the set is actually bringing back some the Metal Universe brand with Palladium autographs. So we talked about Upper Deck using some of the old Fleer stuff, and so here we see Metal Universe coming back with a look from, I think it was like 96 or 97.
97, 98, yep.
97, 98 basketball, yeah. I remember those, and it just awesome to bring back some of those cool sets that they popped back in the day. So again, this is the 1920 because it's the very end of the year, and all the stuff is on card. So good to see that. We have 2021 Panini Donruss Baseball. $1,030 a box for Donruss Basketball.
Nope.
10 packs per box, 30 cards per pack. You're going to get 1 autograph, 1 mem card, 60 inserts and or parallels. It's a 250 card base set, of which 200 vets and 50 rookies. There are also special choice boxes of exclusive parallels of background similar to Panini's Mojo pattern. Crunch Time is back. That's a cereal box inspired insert. The Net Marvels, which resemble the comic covers, those are also back, and those are both exclusive to hobby only packs. And then the other hobby only chase sets include Craftsman, Retro Series, The Rookies, and Zero Gravity. And the rated rookies signatures are going to be the most popular main autographs you're going to see. Now, Panini on their own site was selling boxes for $1,000 for a box of Donruss Basketball. Now, when 1819 dropped, I believe, I'm going to go back and pull the notes while you guys talk about this. I want to say it was like $100, maybe $100 or so dollars. But let me go back and find the notes real quick. And I don't know. What do you guys think? This is insane, right? For Donruss Basketball?
This is nuts. My son loves Donruss. Like, he bought 1 hobby pack of last year at the shop, but you also ran into a couple of blasters. And we paid like $30 or $32 a box for the blasters, but this is asinine. I mean, the base rookies those are like $20 cards. You look at Zion Ja, those are $20, $25 cards. So I know like everyone's chasing the hobby inserts, and I get it, but this is $1,000 for Donruss Basketball. That's crazy.
Well, and you're creating an artificial market based on artificial scarcity and artificial demand. The people that are buying this, by and large, probably don't really want to per se. You're doing it because it's what's available right now, and you've bought into this whole hook, line, and sinker idea of I have to have it. I mean, what is the return value estimation on something like this? Because at $1,000 a box, I guarantee if you buy just 1 box, not buying in volume. What are the odds of you coming anywhere near $1,000? I mean, if you get $200-$300 out of your box, you better walk away happy. But you're dropping 1,000. You know, it's this right-sided trajectory cannot sustain much longer. I mean, yeah, it might go for 2 or 3 more years, but at that point, you're looking at 7 or 8 years. Now you're talking about economic, you know, white whales. You're talking about unicorns in the economic world. I mean, the sustainability of anything is unlike anything economics have seen. I mean, yeah, you see spikes and dips all the time. Sometimes those can last for multiple quarters, but not 8 years. And right now we're in year 5 going on year 6. If you believe that, you know, 2015 is right around we started seeing the spike. In 2017 we saw a huge jump. You know, and Brian in the chat, hey, you're talking about you need, you know, the average collector doesn't care about return value. You should. You know,
$1,000 you should.
You're spending $1,000, you're getting $200 of stuff back.
No, I'm telling you right now, people do care because they get help. I've seen people open boxes and get pissed because they didn't get the big hit or what they didn't get any value back from the box they opened, and they left the lead. I've seen the guys throw the cards because they didn't get what they wanted to, or they got back. They opened a $500 box and they pulled a crap rookie auto, and that's what we're trying to go after, and just left and never came back.
You have to care at that price point. You have to.
You have to care about your. You don't have to care about your appreciation value and your long-term value if it goes into your PC. But if the 4 of us go out to a restaurant, and Ben, you live in the Bay Area, so you know there's a lot of nice restaurants in that area. You know, in that general large metro area. You know, if I go out and spend $100 on a dinner in the Bay Area and I get $10 worth of food, I'm going to be pissed off because I could have went to McDonald's and got $10 worth of food. Yeah, it's not as good, but if I spend $100, I better damn well get a good steak. And you know, the ambiance of the restaurant and going out and the wait staff and you know, just being out with my significant other or friends is part of it. You know, I'm not expecting this steak to be valued on the secondary market at $100, but it better be a $30, $40 piece of meat. And you know, I went to a French restaurant one time, spent like $80 a plate, and then on my way home, I'm like, I need to stop at Denny's because I'm still hungry. That was a crap dinner. Yeah, you better believe I don't care about what my PC over there is valued at all. I spent $70 on the card. I felt that was worth that card. I don't care if it goes up to $100 or if it's worth $0 tomorrow. But at the same time, if I spend $1,000, I at least want to get $500 back, $600.
You don't want to feel like somebody beat you up, robbed you, and then went and took your most comfortable chair, right? So I'm looking back, November 7th, 2018, 18-19 Panini Donruss Basketball dropped with Luka, Trey, all the guys in there, right? It's 10 packs per box, 30 cards per pack, 2 autographs. Okay, so you're getting 2 autos a box. $94.99 a box, and
which
Luka
is about right for
it.
Donruss.
Right, even $150 when a guy like Luka's in there. Now,
okay,
there is nobody in this draft class, guys, that is Luka. No one. And also, too, they did not have. They didn't have the Marvels inserts. They didn't have the cereal box inserts. They didn't have any of those in 18-19. And so that could add to it, but not tenfold, like 10 times. Spend your money if you want to, but 1,000 is a joke.
You know, I said in the chat, you know, a negative return value of 50% should be expected on any random box. You know, 50% should be in the thrill of opening it. You spend $100, $50 is, you know, we all know if you go ride rides at the Disneyland, you're spending X amount of dollars. You spend 2 hours in line for a 3-minute ride, but there's got to be some value in that too. The anticipation of the ride and that 3-minute thrill, and you know, being with your significant other, your kid, or whomever you're with. Yeah, that payoff's not going to be 100% all the time, but I'm sorry, if you're spending $1,000 and we're just isolating this to this Donruss product alone right now, there's no way the average box comes anywhere close to netting you $500 on average. Yeah, if you're opening up in volume, there's a good chance you'll get a decent return. But the average person's lucky to open one, and at $1,000, I don't know how many the average person's buying.
What's crazy at this price? Go ahead.
Yeah. No. To me, this is the draft class that breaks the basketball collector's back. We've gone over this. None of those guys are. I mean, we got Halliburton here in Sacramento, right? And he's won back-to-back Rookies of the Month. But he's just a contributing player on a really, really bad team that can't play defense. He's looked good, which has been great. But, ask Steph about his buddy Anthony Edwards. He looks more like George Clooney. He had a big dunk. But they're not like Weissman in Golden State, got benched because he wasn't playing well. He went to the, and so it's there's not LeBron autographs in this, right? There's not Jordan autographs in this. Okay.
Right.
Well, it's like we've manufactured this reason to make everything expensive, like those net marbles cards, or the crunch time or any of the inserts. We've definitely gravitated toward inserts in the last 18 months or so. And we know this rookie class isn't great. And even, last 2 years, Donruss Basketball, the rookies just aren't expensive. We know that. So you're getting that value from the inserts. And you're seeing that on the secondary market, right? At $1,000, you're going to pull a net marbles of, Karl Anthony Towns, and someone's going to throw it up for $300. Like someone's going to buy it, and that's like a $30 card, maybe should be.
And people are doing that because people. See, I've been on this train, and if you guys have listened to the show whatsoever, I was always talking about base rookie cards, first Bowman chromes, Topps chrome rookies, and the same if you translate it into basketball, right? Donruss rated rookies, Prism, basketball rookies, and then you can pick another one, select whatever your brand might be, right? Those were the rookies
like chase. Select, sure.
Yeah, chase down. You find one you like, and there's a couple every year. But because people couldn't afford the autographs, so then you move the base rookies. Well, these have gone crazy, and so now you're sliding into these cool parallels, inserts, and it takes us back to the '90s when there were some sweet inserts. And I think Panini's done a smart job in making these new retro inserts that kind of remind us of our childhood or taking it, advantage of another genre to bring into the hobby and add in, which have made them very popular, like the downtown inserts. I mean, those are, those have been really popular. And so, but again, it's like, how many of those are you going to get in a box? And even if you and
aren't
so
they like one a case?
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know. It blows my mind when we look at this and we're already to, the high end. We're starting out the at the top of the mountain instead of starting at the base and letting the price gradually go up on its own based on how good the quality of the product was, who's in it, how's it coming, who's coming out of it, and we're just gonna hop right in, and it's fine. Be the guy in the secondary market swooping up on all the singles that people are trying to move to recoup some of their money. You'll be a lot happier because you get to pick and choose who you want, and I guarantee you could take if you have $1,000, I bet you could take your $1,000 and buy almost everything you want on the secondary market instead of buying the box, and you'll be happier. It just won't have the same satisfaction because you bought it and you did pull it. But at the same time, you're going to get more for your $1,000 than you would if you bought the box. That's just my personal opinion on it. So collect how you like, but $1,000 for a box of Donruss to me is.
Speaking of the secondary market, what are the blasters going to look like? When the stuff comes out, it's going to be ridiculous.
There's going to be knife fights.
$60-$80.
At least $80.
Oh no, yeah, they're going to be
$100.
$150. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hoops was already. They were charging $85 for Hoops, and Hobby on that was $350, $400, I think, $450. So we're looking at double. Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous.
Well, and Brian Bertrand and I are going back and forth in the chat because he disagrees with our point, or the premise that this is an artificial market, and the idea, because people are going to an LCS, people are going to retailers and wiping out shelves and buying these at these inflated prices. 130% over 3 years ago doesn't just happen because it's creating this artificial demand for this product, and this new money is coming in. They don't know what happened before, so they haven't been around to see it as it escalates, as this trajectory continues going up and up and up, as we've seen over the last 5 or 10 years. As we relate it back to the junk wax era, because it is damn near a linear parallel to what happened in the late 80s and early 90s. But people are going in and they're buying it, sure. But the problem is, and this is the key, most people buying it don't know why they're buying it, other than the fact they're being told to buy it. And then they're swiping their credit card. And then they get home, and I can't tell you how many times I see it on Facebook all the time. People are like, I just bought this box. What am I looking for?
Yeah.
What do you mean, what are you looking for? You should know what you're buying before you buy it. You literally bought it because of the artificial demand, because it was literally on the shelf in front of you. I posted a picture of it the other day. A guy bought a bunch of NASCAR. And he's like, what do I look for in here? I don't collect NASCAR. It's like, what you look for is the receipt and go back and return it.
No. Not after you've opened it.
No. He hadn't opened it. He's got the 6 or 7, boxes sitting there. He goes, about to rip. And he's like, what am I looking for when I open it? Okay.
NASCAR.
Yeah. You're going to see NASCAR cards.
No, and the thing is this like, this is not the new norm. Now, it might be the new norm for now, but it's going to have a shelf. This is going to have a shelf life because it's going to fall, and it will, and it's fine. So you ride it as far as you can, but don't be the one holding back. We talked about this. Compare it to the GameStop stock, right? So, there are people that are we all heard the story about how it got blown up, right? But at the end of the day, there were people buying GameStop stock, which was like what, a $15 stock, at like $3.50, think it was going to go even higher than that, and it didn't, and it dropped to like $90 a share, and people were asked out, all that money, and it's going to be very similar now. The price for these cards might not go all the way back down to where they started at, but they're going to drop significantly, and it just takes some time. We're going to talk about that 91 Zimmer on eBay because people on a Reddit group talked up a card, and people on a different podcast talked about a card that a base Don Zimmer card was going for $27, which and I was at the LCS today, and we're going to get into more of this here in a little bit, but this guy, they had the 86, 87, 87, 88 clear stickers, and they were going back and forth and talking about the values. He's like, hey, you had some more here yesterday. He goes, yeah. He goes, even since yesterday, I had to change the price on them because they've gone up. He goes, they're going up every day, because this guy had been going back and forth, not buying them. He goes, every day you don't buy them, they're going to go up more, and I'm going to be happy not to sell them to you today because I'm going to make more money tomorrow. And I'm going to make more money the day after that. The longer I have these cards, the more money I'm going to make. I'm just letting you know that's how it is. And it's crazy. Like I just there at some point there's an end to this because somebody's going to get hurt big time that's going to be way invested in this, and it's not sustainable at this point when Donruss is $1,000 a box. Now, I'm all for it if you get your money for it, awesome, but we've seen it before.
It's such a hard thing though, because we have all this history, like all of us have been collecting for so long. So if you get someone entirely new into this hobby or who's been out of it for like 30 years, they really might be looking at this entirely different. I mean, $1,000 for 10 packs, they look at that as 10 shots at a golden ticket, and that might be perfectly acceptable to those folks. Problem is, all of us who've been here for so long aren't willing to accept that. So we keep saying the bubble's going to burst. If this isn't going to may not be sustainable, we may be right, but also if we're not, maybe we're wrong.
So one thing that I find really interesting is when you see these news and media outlets that talk about these packs. They're very naive. They're quick to the point. They talk about them in 30, 45 seconds. They give you a snapshot. They always talk about it with 1 point, and it almost happens every time. They're like, you literally could pull a $3,000 card out of a $20 pack. Well, if I'm sitting at home right now, and I collected cards when I was a kid. Man, are you kidding me? I could pull $3,000 from $20.
You know what we sound like? My buddy worked at a convenience store. He worked at a 76 gas station. We're the people working at the gas station watching all the idiots come in and buy the scratchers. And all day, every Friday coming in and dropping. I remember when I worked at Lucky, I worked at the grocery store when I was in high school. There was this guy every time he would come in, he would cash his paycheck, walk in with the $250 or whatever from his weekly paycheck and buy it all in scratchers. And almost every time, this dude hit maybe $100 of the scratchers, like $100 back. He was losing money instantly. And that's kind of how I feel like we're the guy at the convenience store going, "You're back again, huh? All right, here's your $5 scratcher. Good luck." Like, anyway. We also had 20.
Just real quick on that point, in economic circles, there's a very unfavorable term used for people that buy scratchers, and I won't say it here because it's highly offensive, and it's very stereotypical. But basically, scratchers are designed for people from lower socioeconomic classes that are really trying to be Charlie Bucket, right? You're trying to get that golden ticket out of a bar of chocolate, and you need that dream. And there's the conversation between Grandpa Joe and his mom, where I think the Grandpa Joe's like, "Hey, just let him have this dream for tonight. It's okay for this kid to have a dream, even though we know it's all hocus pocus and magic and BS." And that's really what scratchers are. You're there and you're buying your hot dog and your Red Bull, or you're buying your Slurpee, and let me get a scratcher. Most of us have done that from time to time, but in economic circles, it really is the butt of the joke, because most people aren't going in there that have financial wherewithal and buying them, at least not in bulk. Maybe with your beef jerky.
Big thing. I always used to put them in birthday cards, right? Like once I turned 18 and all my, we'd buy each other like $5 worth of scratchers, and you won money, you were buying drinks that night. Like, I mean, that's kind of how it was. So, 2020 Panini plates and patches football dropped today. $370 a box, 1 pack per box, 5 cards per pack. You're going to get an autograph, a mem card, a printing plate, a parallel, and a base card. 200 card base set, all vets. Or 100 vets, 58 legends, 42 rookies. Numbered to 90. All cards are numbered to 99 or less. The rookie patch autographs, we're going to have a very sizable swatch included. And I think I put the wrong link in there, Steph, because that looks like basketball. You also have rookie reflections. They combine an autograph with a pair of memorabilia pieces. Rookie upper echelon cards have on-card signatures. Veterans also have some on-card signatures, leaps and bounds, marquee marks, and highly revered. And then full coverage and double coverage both emphasize jumbo swatches. And they also have patch trios and supreme swatches. Those have, of course, multiple pieces. So not too bad of a release on football. A little fancy, but as we're way past the season, the Super Bowl's already happened, and we're already getting ready for next year's draft. But one of the final releases, I believe, for football coming out. So check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more details on these new releases. What's brewing next week's new releases? 2021 Panini Revolution Basketball, 2021 Upper Deck Series 2. Steph, you saved up your pennies. Let's do it. 2020 Panini One Football and 21 Donruss Baseball. Now, all but Upper Deck Hockey were listed for this week. They all, like I said, they all got pushed back. So we'll have a busy week next week. Maybe Donruss Baseball will be $1,000 a box.
No.
Yes.
No, it won't.
I built 10 team sets last year, or 12 team sets, or 15, whatever the stupid number was. It was right at the beginning of COVID. So if they want to make it $1,000, I just saved a ton of money.
I'm telling you, dude, we're getting on the anniversary of first of all, of all of this happening. Like, my wife's like, "How long has it been since you because I did that no facial hair thing on Snapchat." And I was like, "Oh God, I look a lot younger." She's like, "Don't shave though." And I was like, "It's been a year."
Whoa,
right.
You're on both Snapchat and TikTok. When did you turn into like a 14-year-old girl?
Hey, man, I got Insta.
Where's your water bottle?
What's up?
I said, "Where's your water bottle with the stickers on it?"
Oh, hold on, yeah.
That's right.
Episode 141. Episode 141 of About the Cards is going to be an
Boom!
Intervention. See, there it is. There. See?
Yeah. Oh, Tom.
I've been replaced.
I have a lot of time on my hands. A lot of time. Yeah, so I'm excited about next week.
Not only one, I'm really excited for Series 2 for obvious reasons. But speaking of anniversaries, it's also the 4th anniversary of the Switch.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Switch is that's crazy.
4 years, yeah.
We're hopping in Infield chat, our hobby talk section part of the show. Proset Sales. So everyone's friend Brian Gray and Leaf released Proset. So Proset number 1 was Trevor Lawrence, and they sold 57,101 Trevor Lawrence Proset rookie card, or XRCs as they're calling them. 56,111 will be base, and there'll be 1,000 negative reverse negatives, and those are going to be randomly included in orders. So that's pretty cool. This week there's a Justin Fields and Devonta Smith coming out. I ordered both because 89 Pro Set was the first year 89 was the first year I collected football cards, but 89 Pro Set was the first I ever opened because Barry Sanders was in there, and that set just spoke to me, that orange, and I love that card. So it was a big card for me, and so I'm gonna as long as they keep releasing them, I'm gonna be the Huckleberry. I'm gonna keep buying them. Scroll down, step. It's gonna show the other ones that are, I think, available.
Oh yeah, I cut it in the back.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there's Justin Fields from Ohio State and Devonta Smith, the receiver from Alabama, and then there's also, you could buy autographed versions.
I think they're all sold out.
Yeah, I think they are, but $7.99 a card. And they did add the XRC logo, the Leaf logo, which was not on the Lawrence, but it's on the Smith and the Fields, which is interesting.
I thought
it's 56,111, not 50, not 500,000.
Yeah. So. You know what that means now? They're gonna make a second one with the Leaf XRC on it.
There we go.
True to on Proset, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's on the autograph. Look at the Trevor Lawrence autograph.
Yeah, but okay, maybe because I think the base didn't.
There's the prospect thing on there.
But we will see. So I'm excited. I mean, like I like I said, I've ever been a huge fan, but bringing that Pro Set design back, I mean, it's like 89 score football. When you see that, or you see 86 tops football, there's certain designs when you see them that people just like, oh, guy, remember, it takes you back to an instant in your collecting life, and you're like, oh God, that's so awesome. Like for us, 87 tops. For me, 87 tops for baseball. Yep. Pick one at Logan's. we get really in trouble for that too.
I know.
Just close that real quick.
Pick one, Logan's League. Which do you prefer? This I love this question. It had 535 votes. He asked, which one do you prefer, first Bowman or flagship rookie? 535 people responded. First Bowman got 38.3%, and flagship rookie got almost 62%. Which where do you guys land?
Flagship.
That's what I said too. What do you say, Ben?
My response to his question was, flagship is like having an actual girlfriend, and first Bowman is like being 15, hoping someday you'll have an actual girlfriend in 3 years, and hoping that she's pretty and nice and you can take her out on dates. But like flagship, I can take out right now and enjoy her company. So, but see, my thing is if you have a guy, like I've never been afraid to say, like, first Bowman's is a great prospect card, but the guy the player may never turn out, right? And so one of my buddies here locally is giving me boxes and boxes of his cards to go through, and there's a stack. I'm talking a stack of Grant Green first Bowman Chromes. I was not the friend that gave him the card.
No, it's littered with guys. Matt Davidson, Nicky Delmonico. I mean, dude, there's a handful of. What's up?
That's the Strasburg year.
Yeah, there's a handful. There's a handful of guys in here. If I said your name, you'd be like, "Oh, dude, I remember that. Whatever happened to that guy?" Mm-hmm. Like, my thing is, whatever happened to Estevan Florial, that was big Yankee prospect, right? Everybody was after.
Same thing would happen to Jason Dominguez in a few years.
Right.
And that guy's going to be better than Trout because people said that.
Oh, there you go.
So he has to be now.
Yeah.
His shoulders are so big.
People on the internet said.
He's so big. Like my buddy texted me today. He's like, "Man, what do you think of this Daubach kid for the Red Sox? He hit 2 homers today."
Biased.
And I was like, "No." I said, "I think he's a good prospect, but we've seen guys like this from the Red Sox before. Will Middlebrooks, all right, Travis Shaw, 2 of the guys that come to mind. Scott Cooper, an old school one.
Andrew Benintendi.
Hey, he's a 4-year-old. You leave him alone.
You can have him.
First of all,
Hey,
they literally traded him for a guy who can't hit. The Athletic had an article today, and they were breaking out the options. I think it was Jim Bowden who wrote the article, and it's like, they're like, yeah, so Benintendi goes to the Royals, and the Red Sox get a guy in Frenchie Castillo or whatever his name is, and they're like,
Cordero.
He has all of the tools that you want. He can do this, this, and this. He has all of the tools except he can't hit. And
the kid, the best part of the Khalil Lee kid, the young outfielder, they ended up sending him to the Mets. That was the best piece that left the Royals for Benintendi, and he didn't end up with the Red Sox. And that's, the one Red Sox name I'm going to tell you guys right now, Jarren Duran.
sure.
It's the outfielder. I'm just telling you right now, if you like to speculate on guys,
I think you broke up. Who'd you say?
Jarren Duran.
I'm on eBay right now buying all of his stuff. How do you spell his last name? I didn't want it until
Like
you said it.
Like the band.
Okay, all right.
So
Got
for
some.
what it's worth, Florial made his major league debut, went 1 for 3 with the Yankees last year. As a 22-year-old.
If he retires now, he's a 333 hitter for the rest of his life.
Indeed.
This is the card you're looking for.
With 2 strikeouts.
Oh, I bought the wrong one. Oh, well.
Okay.
How many do you own, Phil?
I think 2. But I'm just telling you, what I've heard about the Red Sox talking about, and I've kind of read a couple things. They seem to like. I'm not saying it's a name to watch. It's a name to watch.
This is the problem with. We've been saying this for years. I say it all the time. Is this is indicative of a guy does something good in a preseason game, and all of a sudden people want to start speculating. Yesterday would have been the time to buy this guy. You didn't want him yesterday. You don't want him today. Definitely don't buy him today after he got 2 home runs. Wait till
he gets sent down.
Yeah. Look at what happened with Gavin Lux last year, right? 2 years ago, we were all over him as a hobby, and the Dodgers sent him down, and then everybody's having fire sales just trying to liquidate his stuff. And it's like
the same with
great opportunity to be above average player, not necessarily a Hall of Famer, but maybe a 1 or 2 time All-Star. Maybe he goes past that. But don't offload his stuff. Definitely don't offload his stuff now. When
Nico Horner is another guy. He has an opportunity to play.
And if you're literally trying to offload it right when the guy gets sent down to the minors or has a bad game, you were never collecting him to begin with.
Yeah. You don't
people are like, yeah.
I'm all over Marvin Bagley, man. Bagley.
I'm waiting to get my PC list in April to find out who I collect this year.
Yeah.
Just came in the mail. Yesterday, day prior.
Actually, Ben, you had one of the greatest tweets a couple months back. I'm not going to say which one because I just want you to think about which one it might be. But you had said, "Are we not doing Vlad Guerrero Jr. anymore?"
Oh, shit.
Are we not doing Pete Alonso?
Yeah, and you can literally take your tweet and substitute any given name. The following year, 6 months later, take.
Are we not doing Osceola Puig?
Yeah. That's so 2014 of you.
2013.
When
he came up. Oh, lordy.
Dude, I remember growing up, and my cousin David, who was a couple years older than me, I remember coming up to him one time, and he shows me something, and I'm like, "That's so dope." And he goes, "Dope?" He goes, "Dude, that was like 2 years ago. What are you trying to?" And I was like, "I'm just trying to be cool, man."
Hey, that's the bee's knees.
But that is Yeah,
August.
There
there's
we
the
go.
tweet,
August
you know,
14th, 2020.
we just stopped doing things. This hobby is so cyclical.
Hey,
It's so funny. Cracks me
By the
up.
way, when last year I was buying Aguirre rookie cards for like $2 or $3 because like I actually think he's going to be a good player. He's going to be popular. People are going to want the same thing with Ohtani. Like you see that 420-foot bomb he hit yesterday. Like the guy wasn't healthy last year. I think I've always thought he was such a different type of player, one that could pitch and hit. He was such a unique player. Throughout this entire time, I've been collecting him because I actually enjoy watching him play because he's so unique. I don't think we're going to see a guy like that ever again. Not for a while. Just the way everything's so specialized. Oh, Yasmani Tomas. Yeah. How about what was the dude with the Red Sox that was
Rusney
Castillo?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I remember they had him and Pablo Sandoval. It was like, dude, we're just the Red Sox. Like, Lord, I was so happy when the Red Sox gave Pablo all that money because I did not want the Giants to re-sign him because I knew what he was. And then we got him back for like $500,000 and just whatever, and he comes back and plays again. It's like, hey, we missed you, bud. Welcome back.
The Red Sox didn't just get Sandoval. Remember, they also got Hanley Ramirez at the same time.
Yeah.
We got our new left side of our infield, man.
By the way, sometimes the Red Sox and Yankees and maybe like the Mets kind of remind you of the people buying at the height of the hobby, like with like the peak, like the guy's never going to be there again, and they're just paying top dollar, and they're just paying for the slide down. Like that's how I feel sometimes.
They literally remind me of Danny Tanner trying to be cool in every episode of Full House up against John Stamos.
By the way, in real life, come on, in real life, who was cooler?
Stamos. Come on.
Okay. Thank you. Best card show. So at HTV98_cards, I drove 3.5 hours each way for this card show. Now, this might be one of the best card shows I've ever seen. It looks like someplace I would like to go on the weekend, especially if it was at night. My producer brings up the picture here. It's three pop-up tents, 2 vans, one that's one of those vans that you would see that might have free candy, and then one dude just by himself there in the middle. There's like 6 guys there. It's raining and or snowing. That's not a good card show.
First of all, there's 7 dudes.
Okay, sorry, 7 dudes.
At least they're trying.
Hey, I want to go to a card show, but not that bad.
Well, so
3.5 hours each way. That's insane.
3.5 hours each way. So
in the snow.
Eight people, presuming with the picture taker, and dudes have their boxes on the wet ground.
Yeah,
dude, but they're all. Dude, you drove 3.5 hours to see three dudes trying to offload all their Ken Griffey Jr. Keith Shores on you for $5 a pop.
Yeah,
3 for $10.
Apparently in the Connecticut area.
All right, here we go. Gnarly Core Psychopath. I love this. Picked up some flagship sets, already bindered and paged. Yeah, to save some time and money. What kind of Psychopath binders, cards, front and back? I think it was like a 92.
No,
all of us.
Oh yeah,
that's 2002.
It is. Yeah.
All of us were 8 years old in Junk Wax. We didn't know any better.
I never did that. I like to read the card backs.
Your 89 tops are 1990 Donruss. Never sat back to back.
Nope.
Really?
So
I liked reading the back of the cards.
I could understand if this were like Magic, where there's no back, or Pokemon, or you could even make the argument for like Topps or Donruss signatures, where the back just has nothing. Topps Living, maybe.
Not
but
this era.
For a flagship, no.
I don't know. See, I don't hate this. I really don't. It's not something I do, but I don't hate it. Because that top set is like 1,000 cards, right? And that's like a whole box of pages. So is everyone really going to spend, $20, $25 on a box of pages to do their set? Yeah, I know you will, because me too now, right?
I get a sucker.
But and that's okay. But I mean, it's I don't hate it. I just don't hate it. I don't hate it.
No, I mean, I early on I spent too much money, and then I would just have people buy me cases of pages from like my birthday and stuff, and everybody look at me sideways. But I'm like, I want them, but I can't see spending the money. But if you want to buy them for me, then even better. And I understand they're expensive. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but it's to that point that I'm just going to leave it in a box until I can afford to binder it up. And
02 Tops had
726
and 18.
18. Okay.
I want to know which back that Albert Pujols has, though. Is it the Polanco back or the Pujols back?
Oh, so there you go. So you don't know.
Oh.
By the way, did you guys see the CC? I see the CC Sabathia All-Star Rookie Cup card. He's locally and he's from the Bay. Did you see the documentary on him on HBO, Under the Grapefruit Tree?
No.
Yeah, it's really good. It talks about his alcoholism. It talks about him coming up, his life. He's a very interesting story, and I remember that he went into rehab, but I didn't realize it was during the playoffs, like right before he was supposed to start a game. He decided he's like, no, I got to go to rehab, and left the team. And so it's a very interesting story if you have a little bit of time. I know it's on HBO Max. I don't know where else it might be, but I did check it out this last week, and I was like, one of my good friends I worked with for a long time actually went to high school, and they grew up together, and said he's a pretty decent, human, like donates back and comes back to the community every so often, and has, always been like a pretty upfront guy with his community and helping them out. So, and this is a kind of a good story, but kind of like, man, you think like the demons and like the stuff that he went, like you go, and I don't think any of us knew that he had a big problem. He was out there pitching and slinging, and so, one of those guys that's on the cusp of, is he a Hall of Famer or the Hall of Good? He's right there. And God, I remember when he was the Brewers, man, he was so that dominant that he drugged that Brewers team into the playoffs. He got traded at the trade deadline and
08, 09, somewhere in there?
2008, yeah. Because 09, he was on that last World Series team for the Yankees, and just drugged that Brewers team into the playoffs. So,
wasn't he pitching like every day?
He tried to, yeah. He was like, I could pitch on 2 days, 3 days. And
and they didn't care because they knew that it's one of those things, like as a team, it's like, hey, if your workhorse, we'll ride this guy as far as we can.
Because we're not re-signing him.
We're not re-signing him, so it's one of those things like, where is that ethical line of we need to do right by the player, but at the same time, you have a man who's literally saying, I'll take the damn ball every day. Don't take me out. I'll pitch a triple header today and come back and pitch tomorrow. I mean, kudos to that guy for that year, because by modern standards, he'd literally have to staple his feet to the mound in today's game. And it wasn't like it was that long ago. It's not like we're talking Nolan Ryan here.
But still, 2008, you think about it now, man, dude, that was a bit ago. It makes me feel like 1,000 years old. Speaking of so long eBay Bucks. I got an email this week. Thank you for being a Bucks member and a valuable part of our eBay community. We're reaching out to tell you about upcoming changes to the eBay Bucks program. After careful consideration, we've decided to retire the 1% earnings reward on everyday purchases starting April 1st. The good news is you still continue to receive bonus buck offers, so you can keep earning. At the beginning of April, in the beginning, April 1st, the bucks you earn will have a 12-month redemption window, so there's even more time to score those big savings. You also can earn extra rewards through the eBay MasterCard, earning up to 5 times points on eBay purchases. Now through March 11th, open a new eBay MasterCard and spend $250 and get in the first 30 days and receive a $50 statement credit. We hope you will continue to enjoy savings and deals on the brands you love, plus all the exciting finds you've come to expect on eBay. From the rare to the retro to the right now, sincerely, the eBay Bucks team. Dude, really?
I got the same message. It was actually in my spam folder, but I did have a notification on eBay saying, hey, we have a message for you.
Yeah. I mean,
they literally hate customers.
Yeah, it's like they're trying. My thing is it was always kind of like a nice little bonus. Like you could see, like, oh God, I got $12. So how much money did I spend this quarter? Like, don't do the math, just spend the $12.
Right. Well, and my understanding is that they didn't want to phase it out completely, that they were looking to maybe bring it back for only a portion of sales or in certain categories. But it's disappointing. I mean, I think the most I ever had was $5, $6.
Okay.
I think I've had like 7. I've never broke 20. I know that. But what do you guys remember you being your highest eBay bucks?
I had about 45 or $50 one.
Yeah, I had 70 something because I spent a lot of money on Christmas stuff and capitalized on a few late year 5 and 8%.
I always love when they have those like the
those
extra
are the big ones.
Yeah. Like I remember one time I think they had an 8% or something, and I was like, oh, I've been waiting to buy this. I think about like an $80 card, and I was like, and it was I'm not going to stop using eBay. It's just kind of like it's a little sad thing. It's like when they start taking the small things away, like it's like when you're an employee, right? And then they take away like that employee appreciation day is now like, hey, we brought in sandwiches from Jim Boy's sandwich shop over here, and you guys got to split a bologna sandwich 8 ways.
Yeah,
it's like
instead of full-on catered lunch, here's some stale donuts that we got from the discount aisle at the grocery store.
Yeah, they were throwing them out the bakery. We got them for free.
Right.
Enjoy. So it's just the little stuff that matters.
Yeah, they don't owe us anything any more than your employer owes you stuff like that. But to me, it just seemed like that pizza day they would do once in a while just to kind of get you to shut up. It's kind of cool. I mean, I buy a lot of stuff on eBay and a penny here and a nickel there on my purchases.
It's like, oh, cool. Hey, you guys remembered me. Thanks. Appreciate it.
At least they didn't kill the 5 and 10% or 5 and 8% stuff later, so it'll pop up.
No, yeah, I know. It's just
pray they don't.
Yeah, they did start a
further.
5%er today, so make sure if you do that.
Yeah, how convenient, right? Now, Good as Gold in the YouTube chat asked if eBay taxes are legit. Now 3/4 of us are in the state of California, who loves their taxes. When you check out and you're paying $10, say shipped, and it comes to $10.87, that 87 cents needs to be turned over to the state of California as sales tax. Is it legit? Yeah, it's supposed to be, but you're paying yours as a consumer. So that's on eBay and how they file their taxes and the amount of money that they've got to bring in. If they're not turning that over, but yet they're collecting it, you're talking about some high level fraud and some people.
Well, no, I know they're paying it because I know they're I got something from them that's about the taxes being from my sales and stuff being that they collected for me, being paid to the state. So. It's nice because as a seller, then it's like, okay, it's not on you to report the sales tax stuff. You just need to report, you're reporting your other sales and all of that fun jazz. But yeah,
they were eating that cost before they were passing it along to us. They should have always been passing it along to us. And I hate to say this, but Sportlots doesn't. So all things being equal, buy from Sportlots versus eBay if it's the same price because you're not going to pay sales tax on it. But
I have a question, guys. Is there anything better than going to Sportlots and you buy a bunch of stuff and you do the box option? Which if they have, I always look, and if I'm going to save like 25 or more cents to ship it to the box, then I do it. Then getting that big package coming from the box, and then you open it up and it's nothing but a box full of packages, and it's like this. It's like I've only done it once. I'm working on the second one. But when I did it, it was like a 4-hour mail day. Like I was just sitting there open bubble mailers and envelopes like over and over again. It was glorious. And if you've not done it before, it's wonderful. It's a smorgasbord of cards. There's almost nothing better.
On the box. I don't know, Ben, have you? As often as you order on there?
Just you got to be careful if you haven't used it, understanding that there is a second shipping cost.
But it's super reasonable. And when I actually paid for my box, he ended up sending me back an $8.70 something refund because it said I was charged too much, and so I even got a refund back from the shipping. So
no, it's a great way just to, ComC obviously has a box option. It's a good way to be able to kind of store your stuff, especially if you're building a set. So in other words, Tim, you mentioned 72 tops earlier in the show. You're building 72 tops, and maybe you're trying to wait for another paycheck, or maybe you're waiting for some cards. Maybe, the other Ben is putting some stuff together for you and you don't know what he's got for you. So you're kind of working on his checklist over the course of a couple of weeks. It's a really good way to, let's say that this Ben is going in there to buy a bunch of Topps Big and top, 89 Bowman. You stick all your McGuires in there, all of that gloriousness and awesomeness all in one big box.
Hot trash.
No.
Dude, I much rather have Topps Gallery than Topps Big.
All right, cool. Finally got you to say the Topps Gallery was cool.
I bought a collection. I bought a collection that had it wasn't even it was like a shoebox because Topps Big doesn't fit in anything. And I looked through, it was Topps Big, and I just threw it in the trash. I didn't even look for George Brett cards. I just threw the box in the trash.
Next week on About the Cards, we're going to get Tim to say that he likes Panini Chronicles.
That is the problem with the
I'll take Panini Chronicles.
Archive Signature Series?
Done.
The 89 Bowman and Topps Big is really something that we as collectors from that time hated because we couldn't find a way to store it. But we have options. So,
but I'm telling you, when it's not the standard option that has been that way since the 1960s.
55-7.
That's when it's not good. When everybody else has done this, and you got two dumb sets that come out that don't fit. Now you can fit 89 Bowman in a regular page. It just sticks out a little bit on the top. So if it's in a binder, it's okay. But like Topps Big doesn't fit in anything. It's like
they're the same size as 89 Bowman.
Yeah.
No, they're a little wider, aren't they?
They're a little wider. All you have to do is fold them in half, and they fit into the sleeve. You just got to fold them.
Throw them garbage. Start a fire.
Fold over the top.
Yeah.
Speaking of starting with the fire.
Yeah. The bots are back, everybody. The bots are winning. Ivan at Watch the Break said the bots are back. Hashtag Project 70. The same seller. 5 artist proofs. Had 5 of the artist proofs of the Project 70 cards. And I just we saw this with Project 2020. It was all the same people with all of, and I don't care about the artist proofs, whatever. But some collectors do. But it's kind of strange when one seller has all the artist proofs. Then SB Assures tweeted out it was a screenshot. It said, GFN members dominated the Optic NFL's premium sets, checking out 182 of the 199 total boxes produced with a $2,000 profit per box. Today was another historic day for GFNF and KSR Automation. So the bots are winning.
So in other words, a product Panini put out for general consumption, 17 people got not from them.
Yeah.
17 boxes not even 17 people.
Yeah. So if you were looking for that, good luck. I know that the Bowman was a throwback, but it should be just thrown away. Just kidding. It's okay. I'm okay with 89 Bowman. I just don't like Topps Big. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. What don't you like about it? The pictures.
The size.
They're horizontal.
No, don't mind the horizontal. The size.
They were good pictures, though. It was.
They don't fit in anything.
The variation.
They were just cool cards. Go look up 1989 Topps Big Dave Parker and tell me that's a bad looking card. That is a good looking card.
Don Zimmer, so Dub Mentality tweeted out.
And briefly here to finish off the previous topic, you're not wrong. It isn't not unlike concert tickets.
Yeah, that's
with
true.
Ticketmaster and all.
Yeah, but let's talk about a big bunch of frauds in Ticketmaster. No,
Pearl Jam was right.
Don Zimmer's on fire. He Dub Mentality tweeted, I hate to ask, but can somebody explain this to me? It's a 1991 Topps Don Zimmer selling for $15 to $30 on eBay. at Swollen Graven Man said a podcast called the F-Face Podcast, hosted by Jeff L. Ramsey and Gavin Free and Andrew Patton, is the cause of this. Looks like people were confused because they were talking, I think, about the base versus the Desert Shield. And
I'll show you, but it was deleted.
Was it?
Thankfully, someone got a screenshot.
Nice. And then so I think our buddy Bo, 1 Million Cubs, did a little blog post about it, and it was the same about saying that they were people were hopping in and buying it because they thought it was the Desert Shield, and it was just the base. And it's like
it shows you these cook groups, these Discord groups, people on Reddit, how easy it is to manipulate the market. And most market manipulation is not illegal in the most simplest form, right? Because what it is it's just influence. So there's 4 of us here, and let's say that by the time that next week's episode airs, 296 people have listened in some format of the show. So there's 300 of us. If the 300 of us collectively decide that what we're going to do is we're going to make, a 1989 Donruss Storm Davis card worth a lot of money, right? We all know that would be a penny card, a nickel card, 18 cents on Sportlots. And let's all go out and grab a bunch and stick them up on eBay at auction. And if the hobby sees movement on that influence, that market manipulation, next thing you know, this Storm Davis card selling for $12 to $15 for no other reason than a bunch of people got together and said so, and a bunch of other people manipulated the market.
The simplest way is there was I remember Goofy had a cartoon. I remember this as a kid. Maybe it was the Goof Troop. I don't know what it was. But what they were doing is there was a guy on there that was buying a common card of some terrible baseball player that was on whatever, right? And he was paying $1 for it, every one. And people were like, why is he buying this card for $1? It's worth nothing. It's like a penny card. He was paying everybody for $1 for it. So he got them all together, and then he lit them all on fire except for one. He kept one. And now it was the most valuable card because now there was only one because he burned all the rest of them. That's what this reminds me of. It's like, hey, let's pick some random card and be like, okay, hey, look, like this Sal Perez Optic Diamond Kings card. Buy this card right now. Buy it up.
That's all it takes is a handful of people to go out and buy up a significant portion and make it be known that there's a significant movement. And because what happens is the next person falls in line and says, why is there significant movement? I better get on this train, whether it's FOMO, the party train's leaving the station. Let me go grab a bunch.
So what you're saying is, as an example, everybody needs to go and buy 1991 score Dream Team Kirby Puckett.
Yes.
How many do you have? Nobody's listening. How many do you have?
Probably 10 or so.
Oh, dude, sweetheart, you need to buy a lot more before you want to start moving the market. You need to get
moving those nipples. I mean, the needles.
Get another 100, 150 of those, and
right.
we'll talk it up.
Okay, so 4 times to pay the rent. Tro Willie Rips tweets, it really chaps my ass when my LCS has a wall full of retail product for 4 times the markup. And then at Jack Cards retweeted back, I own an LCS and I carry quite a bit of retail that I buy from flippers. NBA Hoops, for example, I buy at $65 per blaster and I sell them $80 to make a little. This allows me to offer product at a better price point than $400 per hobby box. Not perfect, but it's the market. Not everyone can make it to buy at retail, and some are happy just to get a little bit of product. I don't go into Target or Walmart's for product, but I do pay flippers close to what they can get for it on eBay. Necessary evil in the industry. Don't love it, but compete. I don't know. We kind of. Anyway, so it's one of those things. It's like I understand if I had a store, I had an LCS, and you have somebody coming in and they might not be able to afford, a $400 box because that's what the market's demanding right now. Is that you have a secondary option for them, because even then, like in a $400 box, what's that, $6 or $8 pack? You give them at least another option to buy into, even though it might be way overpriced. but it's crazy to over this point. And then also too, I think, is the LCS getting enough product? Are they able to get enough product to? In some cases, they're not, and this is the way they have to go back and be able to offer new product to customers that's fresh and packed. So I'm never going to pay that much for a blaster in my life. I'll just move on, to me, because I know how awesome blasters can be.
See, I think that goes back to having that history in the hobby, though, because these new folks coming in, they can't spend $400 on a box of hoops, but they walk into a card shop and they've actually got a blaster for $65. That seems reasonable in a bubble, because you don't have that history of, it only cost me $20 if I can find it. Well, that's what I used to pay for it.
But you look at it, as a sales analogy I've used for a long time when I teach courses. I think I've mentioned it on the show before. Is there's a marginal cost. There's a ceiling of what we would pay for, say, a bottle of water. $1.39, $1.49. At what point do we just say, I'm okay, I'll buy something else, or I'm not that thirsty. But if you're dying of thirst, if you're diabetic and you've got to get some water to take a pill, are you willing to pay $6, which is 3x? Yeah, drop a $10 bill on the table, right? What if that bottle of water has the cure for cancer and a loved one has cancer, and that bottle of water will cure them of that cancer? You would pay. You go knock off a bank, right? Turn yourself in, but you use that money to be able to buy that bottle, and so the variables are relative to the person and their wants and their needs and what they've got, their socioeconomic standing, and that's different for all of us, right? Some of us couldn't fathom buying a $50,000 car. Other people have to have it because it's what they're after, right? My wife drops $100 on the makeup. It's like, why would you buy that? As I'm over here clicking and buying a Mark McGuire for the same price. Everybody's variables are different. I've come a long way. I got into it with a big LCS out of Colorado a couple years back because he had a bunch of retail. And this was before the big retail push, but he had a ton of it. He's like, I bought it, from the distributor. And it's like, was that earmarked for retail? Did he get it before it went to retail? It was a different environment back then. But yeah, it's difficult as a small business owner to survive anyway. And Tim and I know a local LCS that got sold a few years back. I had an opportunity to buy it, and it's like, it's the brick and mortar. The idea of the brick and mortar has been dead for years. Kudos to anybody that can make it work. It's not an easy business model. But, if you're buying it for 65 and you're selling it for 80, yeah, it's not ideal. But again, we're not paying $2 we're okay paying $2 for the bottle of water. We're not okay paying $8, but there's a lot of people out there that are thirsty and willing to pay it. If the LCS can make a few bucks, and again, I've changed I've come 180 on this. I guess it's better that than to have people stand in line.
But my whole thing is, and I totally get it, but from a buying perspective, if I want the LaMelo ball out of that hoops blaster, why don't I just go buy the $80 card? Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to get a whole bunch of grading talk right through here because there's a bunch of interesting things that popped up on grading this week. So trust. Card purchaser tweeted out, what grading company do you trust more? There were 2017 votes. PSA, BGS, SGC, and the new one, HGA. PSA got 67% of the vote. BGS with 17%, HGA 10%, and SGC got 6%.
Wow.
So, one, how do you even trust HGA at this current point with as little history as they have?
Yeah, what's it, 2 months?
But two, SGC, they're all kind of valued differently depending on what you have. So SGC is like the way to go for vintage or pre-war stuff, whereas PSA and BGS are more recent and just in general. And had I actually voted in time, I probably would have put PSA. No offense to Beckett, but that's not to say that I extremely value PSA's opinion either. And I mean, I showed it earlier, but just to have one, I picked up SGC card.
It looks good that
It does.
layout, and it's not going to go.
I love
You didn't buy it to sell it, right? You're going to
No,
tuck it
it's
away and
$12-15, whatever.
Yeah.
I
I mean, to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, I have a mixture of some PSA and BGS, so I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
I'm kind of committed to the BGS just because that's what my collection is. But, you know, it's going to be PSA, I think, because it still has such a strong footing in this hobby. They haven't changed much. I mean, it's been pretty solid for 30-ish years. Maybe not that long.
And you can never trust any company, 80%. I mean, no matter what business or anything it's in. I mean, we've seen the past.
But you do see real quick before we move on that PSA and BGS. Let's put them together for the sake of that poll for a moment. It shows you how much, at least the people that voted, the 2,000 people that voted, how much they're more in the modern day, the last 10 years worth of cards versus SGC. To Steph's point, the people that are voting aren't the ones that are collecting vintage and pre-war, because otherwise SGC would have a hell of a lot more than 6%. That's just not where you're sending your Ja Morants and your Zions and your Jason Dominguez's.
What's funny is, like 3 months ago, SGC was like the new kid on the block because it got rebranded, right? So this is before HGA came out with their color matching labels. Like SGC was gaining footing, and then here comes these nice flashy labels, and suddenly everyone just wants to. Oh, okay. Guess we forgot about SGC already. And which is isn't that the one that's backed by Gary V?
I believe so.
It's kind of funny how that just kind of got tossed to the side real quick. Feels like it there.
Yeah. One-on-one gone wrong at Chris Egg 33 _ said, no, it's not his card. It's a 2020 Bowman Chrome Sapphire, Papadopoulos, the 1/1 from Sapphire. Jason 1/1 Jason Dominguez auto. It got a 5.5 grade with a 9 auto. The centering was 9.5. The edges were 9.5. The corners were 8. The surface was 5 or 4.5. Yeah.
See, where this guy screwed up is he didn't send it to the card doctor to get cleaned and the label resurfaced.
Jesus. But I chuckled when I saw this. It's like,
so nice looking card, but now with the pop report for it, it's always going to show that it's at the first time it was scanned, it was a 5.5, so it better not ever come back and get a higher grade.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
This is
so what happened to the surface that it got a 4.5?
That's it. Just I don't see it.
A long time ago, we were talking about grading 1/1s. This is the prime example of why you don't grade 1/1s. Nothing good can come from it. You can protect this card with all of the modern technology that we have. You can put this in. You're not going to get more money out of it. It's a 1/1. It's going to be worth whatever the market dictates at that time. If you can get bidders bidding against one another, especially with this guy specifically. It's Dominguez. He's a hot name. It's a Yankee prospect. He's got everything going for him. You're not going to get exponentially more money if this thing comes back a pristine 10. It's a 1/1. It has an infinite market. I mean, obviously, there's always a ceiling. But, 50,000, 80,000, who knows? But now you've destroyed its relative value if you're looking to sell it, because now everybody and their brother's going to know it's a 5.5 surface. And like you said, Steph, if you regrade that and it comes back an 8.5, that's drastically different.
Right. And I mean, it's not like the card looked like it was from like 2010 Topps Chrome, where literally once you open the box, the packs were like this. Unless you're doctoring it, there's no way to improve it.
Yeah, you're done. I just thought it was funny. All fours created the same. Certified cards tweet out pop control, you say? They tweeted out this picture of two different PSA Jordan, 87 Fleer Jordans. Now, the first one is been well loved. It has 4 soft white corners. It's yellowed. There's some color on the edges that's missing. It just doesn't look good. And you see the back of the card. I mean, it's been, sunshined on. It's got some dirt. It's got all kinds of stuff. And then there's another one that's newly graded that's got a 4, that the corners are sharp. The color is clear. Now at the bottom, there's a little bit of color loss. The back is white, like it came fresh from a pack, but yet this got a 4, and it does not look like the previous 4, which if that's a 4, then this one's a 1 or a 2.
This one is one of two things that happen. Either this extremely overgraded or this extremely undergraded, and I'd wager the second one.
And when the second one has a print dot, but still that little print dot shouldn't bring it down, I believe, that far.
Unless there's a crease, as Ben pointed out. Because I think they cut them down to 4 if that's the case.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell from this picture. But anyway, I thought that popped up. It made me laugh because the
eye appeal was different.
Yeah. Does everything need to be graded? We saw today that somebody had graded a Topps 2020 Topps Big League box that had a Mike Trout card on the back. They graded the actual blaster box. I saw people grading. I think you tweeted out, Ben. People had graded like some '90s rookies, random rookies, and they'd all gotten like 5, 6, and 7s, and they were like terrible grades. It's like, well, first of all, like we have a couple questions of the week. I'm going to put one of them in here. Like, should grading companies decline to grade modern cards, anything from 1980 current, if it's going to grade below a 7? Should they just be like, no, we're just not great if it's a base card? Now, if it's an insert, something different, autograph, something different. But if it's a base card, should they just say, this is not worth grading? We're not spending the time to grade this card. Doesn't meet our standards.
Well, speaking from work perspective here, I know that if we get something in that's all 1990 score and they wanted it auctioned or put it as elite items, we can send them a message to say, hey, sorry, we can send this back to you, or we can reprocess it as another tier, but we're not touching this at that, what you want it as. You're going to lose money. And that's not how we want to do business. I don't see why they couldn't say the same exact thing. Hey, no offense to our Reverend Mets collector, but sorry, we're not grading this Gary Carter from 1989.
I think it's a slippery slope when you start turning people away, though. Because I have a 90 score Ricky Jordan that I have, a 90 score Ricky Jordan. Okay, I found it in a puddle when I was 10 years old, headed to Little League. I still have it. Honestly, I want to get it graded just for the hell of it. I know it's a 1, but I want to get it put in the BGS case just for the hell of it. And if you're going to tell me I can't, I think that's ridiculous.
Well, at what point does it? I'll take your money. It's your money, and you want to give it to me. I'll give you the service to encapsulate it. And honestly, you're almost devaluing the system altogether because the sliding scale is 1 through 10. You need the 3s and the 4s to be able to show the difference between a 3 and a 10. I've got to be able to see that offset. You see it all the time in finance. You have offsets. You got your expenses that offset your revenues and stuff like that. Right?
But what I'm saying right now, is you have people that are specializing and looking over cards. Now, when they're doing like group submissions, I know there's card shops. They'll look over the cards for you and tell you if it's worth grading or not due to their expertise and their history of doing it. They might be very good. So we're seeing a ton of 8s, 9s, and a handful of 10s. But those numbers, that's where you're seeing all of these cards. No one right now is spending the money and or time to grade anything below that unless it's a vintage card or a very rare insert. Are they sending it in to be graded? Because, again, if you have somebody that's helping you decide if it's gradable, they're going to tell you it's not worth your time and your money and your effort to do so. So now all we're seeing is 8s and 9s and 10s. We're not seeing the other grades. So I'm just kind of trying to play devil's advocate. I just think because people aren't going to grade them anyway, or a majority of people aren't going to be grading them anyway. I just think at some point, all the grading stuff, it's nice that there's a handful of companies now. There's just not 2, maybe 3 companies grading. That there's some other ones hopping in.
Mm-hmm.
But at what point in time does it just like, okay, like it kind of just devalues the whole purpose of having the card graded, because now there are so many different opinions. What does it matter?
It's
Well,
like a restaurant saying
from
you
chat,
can only-
isn't that what's the point of raising the prices?
it is. It's like going to a restaurant saying you have to have a tie on. Okay, well, I've got a tie, but I'm still wearing dirty clothes, but I've got a tie around my neck. Okay, well then you have to have a car at $30,000 or more. You've got to show us, your last W-2 and 2 years worth of tax returns if you want to eat here. At what point, you don't get to dictate that if you're offering a service. We're going to grade the card that's presented to us. Let the market determine that based on the prices, as good as gold, suggests in the YouTube chat as Steph referenced. Let the market say, you know what, it's not worth my money to take a Ricky Jordan card and spend X amount of dollars on it for personal vanity. You can if you choose to. And yeah, organically, you're going to have less and less of those coming through. You're going to have somebody like Ben that wants to put that card in a PSA or a BGS slab for his personal collection forever, for eternity, and pay the associated cost, which is now more than it was yesterday.
Well, okay, so here's PSA's grading. So right now they have a value which is $20 per card with a 10 card minimum, and the declared value cannot be more than $500. The economy, which they're not accepting, is $50 a card, a declared value of $500. Regular is $100 a card, not $1,000 declared value. Express, $150 a card, $2,500 max value. Super Express, $300 a card, $5,000 max value. Walkthrough, $600 a card, $10,000 declared value. If you have a card worth more than $10,000, there's premiums that go anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 per card.
And this is just to have it graded.
Just to have it graded, yes. And by the way, if you were to hop into economy, their current completion date of economy cards is if you submitted it before August 3rd of last year. Walkthrough service is February 28th. Super Express is February 23rd. Regular is November 4th. If you did any quarterly specials, they're completed through June 30th of 2020.
So when they say to me, they're like, hey, Ben, what do you value this at? I value it at $0 because it's for my personal collection. So I pay $0. I'll pay you $12 to throw it in a slab.
There you go.
Because I don't care about your appreciation values. I don't care what the secondary market says. And that's how I get into it. And then when they argue with me, we get into semantics. And at the end of the day, I tell them it's a scam and move on.
So I have a general comment about, like, does everything need to be graded? And I think what we're kind of missing, or we don't really discuss in this, is with, like, standard cards that are not serialized. Well, there's two things. One, we don't know that the card we send out is the card that we're getting back if there's a return, right? So we're adding a serial number to it by slabbing it. Two, there is some value in having a third party look at the card and assign some number to it, because we know damn well that every seller doesn't go to eBay and say, well, there's a little, there's a little mark here, there's a little, ding there, because the card will never sell. So if we can get a number assigned to it that we can all generally agree upon as fair, or the system is fair, then it kind of adds some security to the transaction. So everything's not going to go from 10 cents to $1,000, but it does add some security to the one-on-one transaction, I think.
So I just have one more. I want to put a little spur under the saddle. How do you know that the base card you sent in is the base card you're getting back graded?
Oh, well, no, it's true. And I thought about this, when I first started grading with Beckett in '99. I wondered that because I had 10 cards I sent in. I had 5 that were serialized and 5 that weren't. And obviously the serial numbered ones you can't really do anything with. They're serial numbers. But how do I know that you're not, switching cards out? And it's really an integrity thing. And, once your integrity goes out the window in these businesses, that you're done. So it's really probably not worth it at that point for some of the bigger businesses. But, what if you're grading company ABC, right? And you start taking all these submissions, hey, send to us, and we're swapping out, and then we're sending stuff over to PSA, right? You're sending the better condition stuff to PSA, or you're slabbing fake cards. There's a lot of questions there.
So what you're saying
you
is, if we were to start, say, TJ Grading Company, before consigning to TJ Grading Company, I would want to know how that they can verify that this non-numbered card is the one that I'm getting back.
You spit on it,
the same
and then have them certify your DNA.
So the same issue exists for ComC, right? You send them 1,000 cards. How do you know that those? How do I know that the card I'm buying on the site? I know everything's issued a serial number, but it's the same thing, right? So if you send that pixel art, if I send that one card, you guys are going to assign a serial number to it and stick it in wherever, right? And then I know if I buy that one, that's the one I'm getting. Right? You have to have some level of trust.
In our case, I can't prove. I can't show you how, but there is a way. We have a huge inventory system that you're getting the one that you order regardless. You're not getting an extra, and you are getting the one that you request. But I can't show you how.
As a consumer, we have to believe that, just like we choose to believe. I know you're playing devil's advocate, but that's the thing. We have to choose to decide whether or not, and that's the thing. When we're going to grade with somebody, with what is it? CGC, the new one, right? Yeah, right. So
CSG, CGC, something like that.
Yeah, like we know who's behind that, and we know they have a history in this, so there's already some built-in trust. But HGA, like I don't know these folks, and maybe I'm, again, I didn't really look into it, so maybe there's some actual history there. But any of these grading companies that we've never heard of, right, that really don't have any lineage in this hobby, we have to really decide how much do we trust them.
Okay, so my question is, how much trust you put in a company that maybe grades cards that have facsimile autographs? That the person is paid to know if this is an authentic autograph or a card that would have an authentic autograph, because on the back of the card it would say this autograph's been, viewed or witnessed or guaranteed or whatever all the different companies use, and it's a facsimile autograph because it's a reprint of a 1972 tops or whatever, not 72 tops, but one of the ones that was an autograph, right? Like
right.
Well, and you're gonna announce that we're hiring so many more people. Good for you.
They got to be experts, though.
Please explain to me your hiring process. Before I send hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of cards on top of the money associated for your grading services, I want to make sure you're not just grabbing somebody out of an unemployment line. No offense to people that are on unemployment, right? But you're just picking some random warm body. There are a lot of businesses that hire warm bodies to do service, right? Hey, anybody that wants to get out of bed tomorrow morning and put on some shoes at the crack of dawn and provide for themselves, hey, that's what the American dream is, right? You go out there and you provide for yourself and you support yourself. But there's a difference between working in a job that takes minimal training versus something that's highly, listen, I'm not an auto mechanic, and I would never get under your hood and try to rebuild your engine. I know my limitations, and because now I'm putting not only your life at risk, but everybody else on the road with you when you drive away from my garage. This is a highly skill that I myself, I've looked at cards for 30 plus years. I would not trust myself to grade a card. That's not my area of expertise.
No.
And if you're giving me your money for my opinion, you want my opinion, fantastic. I'll give it to you for free. And you're not allowed to take that to the bank and cash it, so to speak. It's just my opinion. But
so
I'm not going to take your money for it.
Yeah, earlier in the chat, Jeff said if you had to send 10 cards off, who would you guys be sending them to? Trying any other than PSA, the prices and return times are just crazy for collectors. So take PSA out of it. Who would you send 10 cards to if you absolutely had to send 10 cards to get graded?
CGC.
Me? I would say BGS. If you're not going to go PSA.
CGC hired Andy Brewing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I would send him to then. Unless it was pre-war, then SGC.
Absolutely.
Anything before, like, say, 1970, I'd send it to SGC. Otherwise, I'd send it to Andy.
So if I were sending off 10 random, if I were to grade 10, the 10 I would grade are all vintage. So I'd send them to SGC. But modern, I mean, Beckett's just down the road, but toss up really.
Yeah. And now that your state doesn't have any laws or rules or
I
whatever,
prefer that.
I like the subgrades. That's me. I like the subgrades. I want to know, like,
Right.
okay, why is this? Why did they give us a
pay more for
9.5? Yeah, like that. That's kind of what I like when you look at it. It's like, okay, the corners, edges, you know.
I got a question for you, Tim. Who in the right mind? I mean, the insanity and the lunacy behind grading a Jeremy Burnitz card. Who would not only grade one, but who would
buy one?
A Jeremy Burnitz graded card? I mean,
But good Ben.
I don't get why.
There's some added value to it.
Huh? Explain why a Jeremy Burnitz.
But good Ben, and also, would you like to buy a D's?
What? Oh, asshole.
You know what you did.
Oh yeah, I do. So I like Burnitz. I collect rookie cards. It was like $3.
So you overpaid by $2.75. All right, I gotcha.
Oh no, because I have like 4 of the base ones, but I mean, shit, it was available at $3. Look at what grading is costing right now. Is there ever going to be another Jerry Burnitz score rookie card graded? Probably not. You know, does anyone care? No. It has been sitting on Common for probably like 10 years.
I gotcha.
That's right. See, hey, so just like that Don Zimmer, Jeremy Burnitz scorecards, that's where it's at.
Yeah. Let's get into it. Tops.
Just heard Ange laughing from the other room for what it's worth.
Topps Madness, 86 years of Topps designs, 1952 to 2019. We have a champion has been crowned.
1987.
Damn
Number
right.
2 seed, 1956, beat number 4 seed, 1983, 18 to 17. Wow.
Close.
17 troll.
Well, I was
And
one of them.
Steph
So.
obviously didn't vote.
I did,
thanks.
though. I'm not sure why it's not shown up.
Okay.
So
I want to thank Underdog Collectibles for sponsoring us for the 7 weeks of the contest. They were outstanding, and we really appreciate them. It was great, and I'm going to send off all the list of all the people that voted because they're going to be giving away a box of 2020 Topps Update. So I'm going to be sending that over to them tomorrow. But no, it was fun. I like doing it. We'll do another tournament, maybe not as big of a tournament, but it was I think a fun tournament to do. So if you guys have ideas for tournaments with like, say, let's do 16. I think that'd be a lot more fun.
Prospects from 2010 to 2020. Good one.
Done. That's our next one. I'm writing it down right now.
all right.
We're gonna name it the Ben Aguirre Bowman tournament. There we go. You've sponsored it.
I've got a question for you, Ben. It's 2-tiered. Okay. About the cards madness, got it wrong obviously because 1987 didn't win. But okay, so the first part is your best 3 designs of all time for Topps, not personal favorites, because the second one is going to be your 3 personal favorites. So what are the best 3 in your opinion?
56, 87, and 65. I think that's both. Real designs and my personal designs.
Interesting.
That's
Maybe
a
not
pretty
that order,
solid list.
Yeah, hard to argue with that. I mean, obviously.
I'm good with I'm good. I'm especially good with 2 and 3. Like looking back, like 65 is like. I look at that set and I'm like, dude, that's yeah.
You know what's that's grown on me? All right, and this is going to get me laughed off the show. 88.
I don't get no.
I love 88.
I think it's cool. I think it's. You know what's funny is it's because it's been so underutilized in all of like the redone and all that stuff that they've done. They haven't touched 88 at all, right?
89's all over the place.
89's all over the place. 87's all over the place. I mean, they've used 83 and 84 quite a bit. So yeah, 88 is one of those that, I like that. No, because it was the sad part about it is that 88 is that the base set, like, yeah. And also too, there wasn't like a dominant bunch of rookies in that set.
Yeah.
And so people are just kind of like, You know, it was a
Hey,
solid
he-
design.
he's Comstock.
Right.
The white letters. There you go.
Yeah.
I like.
He had
so in
two
hindsight,
messed up cards.
Comstock.
Yeah,
Oh,
because then he had that
Both-
one that was a Mariners Cubs card, and what was that 92? 93 was one of the two.
I'm drawing a blank. Steph will know that. Should know.
Sounds about right.
The best was the 88 folders. I have some sitting
Yes.
up here. And I
got
know
some
Mike
in the
Summer
garage.
tweeted out he had like I think it was
One
a
second.
twin. Oh, look at this. He's gonna go pull it out.
So while he's doing that, 65, 73, and some form of 18, 13, and 87. Wrong button. Huh? Wrong button again.
Look at Dave Henderson's smile, dude. He's such an awesome dude. Such a
Yeah.
fun player.
I'll have to go back and find mine. I'll send a picture of mine out tonight because they're around here somewhere.
Yeah, I've got the Clemens one, the 88 Clemens. I miss seeing those on shelves. They were so fun. They always make me happy.
If you had those as a kid in the late 80s in your Trapper Keeper, man, dude, you were the man. Going around your playground lying about, I got 3 upper deck Griffies in my Trapper Keeper and my oversized. Man, you were the man.
Chili Davis.
I actually had an 85 Clemens rookie in a card saver, and I taped it to the inside of my binder. That's how big of a dork I was. Awesome. There it is.
So Chili Davis didn't have a 1986 Topps card. Somebody brought that up on the old Twitter the other day. Why?
Really?
That's weird. Well, that's like Mike Trout didn't have like a Bowman Chrome card in like 2015. How do you forget Mike Trout? He's one of the best baseball players. You forget him?
In 86, Chili Davis was no scrub. I mean,
no. Yeah. All right. So here we go. The questions of the week, and I want to appreciate Mr. Ben for these questions. I think these were some really good ones. What is the importance of building a collection foundation, a real PC, and just not chasing the new shiny hotness?
Knowing that you can come back in 3 years and buy Topps Base, Topps Chrome Update at $1 a piece, 10 cents a piece, 50 cents a piece.
So for me personally, this has been really important for me, as it becomes really hard to find stuff at retail. And, we see all these ups and downs with, the yo-yo, all this new money coming in and everything becoming crazy expensive. It's like, I can choose to join the crowd or choose to stand on the side and watch. And that's been a really big deal for me because I have a collection that I can be like, hey, it's cool. I can sit this part out. I can sit this month out. I can sit this release out. I don't need to worry about, the Donruss Basketball. I don't have to worry about it. I'm just like, forget it. I'll be over here playing with my other cards. So I can still participate in the hobby, but not get caught up in the whirlwind of all the new stuff.
No, I agree. I mean, for me, it's like like you said, like I'm going through all these cards now, and I'm gonna feed the mark. I'm gonna feed this beast, and I'm gonna make the money. I'm gonna sit on. I'm gonna strategically go buy stuff that I want to add, like of my favorite player, things I couldn't own as a kid, and add those to my collection, and let all this new modern or the new hip word ultra modern stuff, sell. And that's fine because guess what? I'm going to be able to come back in 5 or 6 years because I know I'm going to still be collecting unless, I get, somebody, I'm not here anymore, right? Because I like doing it. So I'm going to go and be able to pick those cards up for less and be like, hey, I remember when this was an awesome card. Like when I look at the 89 Greg Jeffries, like, hey, this was an awesome card I wanted as a kid. Now I have one. And go back and look and say, hey, look, I have this cool John Morant Eminence dunk card that I was paying $25 for, and I spent $3 on it. Man, I'm happy, And so, and it's to look through, and when you have a foundation like a PC, like when you get very specific in your collecting, it's very easy to let other stuff. You don't get caught up in the FOMO because you know what you're after, but you can look through your collection and you actually enjoy it, and you don't feel pain. You don't feel like sick to your stomach that I spent $100 on this card and now it's worth $2. You go, no, that's my guy. I loved watching him play for my team, or I loved watching him win that Super Bowl, or whatever it happens to be. That's what to me is awesome about it. So
more and more people are starting to, from what I've seen, transition into very specific PCs because of the associated cost with trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. And Good as Gold brought up a question earlier in the YouTube chat. He's like, are you guys going to collect or buy Inception? And the bigger question is, are you, to him, to anybody, right? Whether that's that product or the next product, you really have to, like you brought up, Ben, is, hey, I can sit this product out because it either doesn't feature my favorite players or it's not at my price point. It's only going to be hit driven, like say like a Dynasty or something along those lines, and I collect more base and inserts. So you have to ask yourself, am I going to collect it? Not what you're going to collect. What am I going to collect? What makes you happy at the end of the day? If having a page of 989 Topps Greg Jeffries is what floats your boat, Shep and I can argue until the end of time about Topps Big. And the beauty of it is, no matter how much we like to razz each other, we're both right in the sense that I love it and he doesn't. I loved collecting it because it was something different that we hadn't seen when we were both the age of 10. And Shep's point is, I don't like it because it wouldn't fit in anything. So I never was attracted to that set. It never spoke to me as a collector. Cool. There's plenty of everything to go around. And Bowman's another one, right? Bowman was bigger than anything we had seen for a long, long time. Since what, maybe 55 Bowman or 52 Topps or something like that?
55 Bowman, 56 Topps.
Okay, so we hadn't really seen anything until the 88 big and then 89 big and Bowman.
33 years, yeah.
Not for everybody. And that's the beauty, is it doesn't have to be for everybody. And I think more and more of us are starting to get into that. I'm going to collect what makes me happy. At the end of the day, it's your money.
Yeah, going back to the Inception question, I opened my only box. I did a war at the card shop one day when Inception was like $60 a box. I won. It was super cool, but that product at $60 last year was phenomenal. And then like a month later, it was a $200 box. And then to me, it wasn't so phenomenal anymore because at $200, you were going to get hurt probably most of the time. But the cards, the card stock was crazy. The cards looked awesome. The autographs were cool. The parallel colors, I showed that green Gratterall. They were awesome. I love them. I'm going to go and make sure that I'm picking those guys up on the secondary, but it's hard to it's really, if that box price is over $100, it's a tough buy at a box.
It's just not for me at the pack price. It's got to be singles only for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's just not the way I collect.
Yeah. But doing it as a war, God, that was fun. There were 4 of us. It was, and Gavin Lux won it for me.
Speaking to that, that's actually one of the things that sells the most through my inventory. Is I'll go to a local card show here and pick a museum collection or tribute or any of those to just have those nice thick base cards.
Yep.
And send them off. Sure, I'm paying 35 cents processing, but they sell for $1 or $2 each.
Yep.
And people buy them. I don't know why. Whether it's they're set collectors or whether they're team player collectors, so be it. But they sell better than anything else I've sent.
They're kind of an added value, though, because if you think about how much that costs to get those damn things out of the pack, right? So even if you're buying those at $100, let's say it's $100 a pack, you're getting 5 cards. And those star cards, it's not like you go to Target and buy a blaster of Pops, where you're getting 88 or 100 cards per box. You get 5, So I think that there are some people who see some associated value in that. I know I do.
Sure.
Yeah. Is the overexposure hurting your personal enjoyment of the hobby?
I wouldn't say that it is. I would say that it's certainly making me move from one area of collecting to another, new to old. I'm not picking up 2020, 2021 products as much either availability or trade wise, because I can go back and pick up 2015 Top Space or 2016 Stadium Club or 2019 Allen and Ginter X that I skipped out on.
Yeah, the one thing that is just all of like the people out of the blue that all of a sudden asking questions that, and it's like, okay, I don't mind, like, but it's like, what got you inspired? And it's like, well, I saw that you can get a $5,000 card out of a $5 pack, and it's like, okay, that doesn't happen all the time, you know. And that to me, I mean, it doesn't hurt my purse, like, and it's not hurting the way I collect. I've adapted and I've changed, and I miss out like being able to go and pick up a random blaster here and there, but it is what it is right now, and there's some really good deals to be had if you're looking to collect singles, you know, because people are trying to make their money back, but it's, I don't know, it hasn't hurt it. I just feel different a little bit towards the hobby sometimes.
Yeah, I get a little jaded, just kind of, I mean, so I kind of went down the rabbit hole of joining a couple of card groups on Facebook, right? Just kind of the devil. But, you know, in just seeing post after post after post of, hey, look, here's the hoops, here's Pokemon, here's all the new shit, here's all the stuff you can't find, here's all the people lined up. And it's like, I think it's overload, right? So it's good to be informed, but I think knowing too much can sometimes really hurt your ability to enjoy the hobby, because you start to see the ugly side, you know. So,
you know, the problem with Facebook groups is, as great as they are and as much content as they give us on the show to laugh at and on Twitter, you only get to see the left side of the ledger. You see the debits and not the credits. You see the credits and not the debits, right? You only get to see half of it. You only get to see the great pulls or the people that have, wiped out, a retailer that is trying to flip, right? And, you know, you and I have went back and forth multiple times on hobby fatigue. Mm-hmm. And I think, more and more people are going to get it. More and more people are going to be driven away and end up on the outskirts, or if not out of the hobby altogether over the next, year or two as prices continue to rise. And it's just, when you're talking $100 boxes, I mean, I shared with the guys earlier some distributor pricing, and just the incredible amount that they've risen over the last 3 years, what it would cost you to get a case of such and such in baseball in 2018 and what it's going to cost you now in 2021. And Bowman's at 130%, where, Heritage Miners went up $3 in 3 years, and it's all top heavy, and, it's all the Bowman products, and it's, it's incredible to see. And there's a lot of people that were never in this for very much money to begin with. So it's going to be really easy for them to say goodbye. Sorry, I don't need baseball cards.
My favorite thing I saw across Twitter today, Ryan Cracknell tweeted out, and it was a screenshot that says, I'm always astounded by anyone who can figure out how to post in a Facebook group but can't make use of a search engine.
Mm-hmm.
When people are pulling stuff and the first question is, what is this worth?
What's my comp?
That is a blatant phishing attempt. And I can't tell you how many times I've laughed at posts like that, and then people DM me, they're like, why is my post funny? It's like, dumb. You're literally fishing for offers. You're trying to get people like, hey, I'm interested, PM me a price, okay?
Yeah.
You're not really asking for a comp because you're not that dense. You know how to go find one yourself. You're just looking for.
I don't know. They're on Facebook, so let's.
Well, there's that.
Why are we involved in this hobby? Is it money? Does it make us feel important, or apart of something else?
Yes, and yes.
I'm not.
I mean,
money's okay. I mean, the deal we have to syndicate this show, and I'm living off the royalties, and I love being important and seeing my face, and when I can tell Alexa to play this and my voice comes over, it's like,
I mean, one, I'm just a collector by nature, but money pays my bills. But also, no, I like connecting with everybody else. Whether it's talking to Mel in Pennsylvania or New Jersey, she recently moved. Whether it's talking with either of the Bens, good or bad, Devil on one shoulder, Angel on the other. Or just being able to talk about a season or a random tidbit fact that Ange couldn't care less about. That I know Rich would A, one, know the answer, but B, find interesting himself.
I love it. I love the connection with the folks, right? And I love the nostalgia part of it. Taking me back to a better, more like when you're a kid, right? Like those hot summer days and all the stuff that went into your buddies and all the fun things you used to go do as kids, right? When the world's like this blank canvas and you're trying to figure your way out. It was something that was always there. And it always just it really always mellows me out, especially like sorting cards. People think I'm crazy. And my buddy that gave me all these cards is like, I don't know how you do it. I said, dude, I love throwing on a movie or a TV series, burning through it and just sorting cards at the end of the night and just chilling out. Mm-hmm. There's something about it that's better than drinking a beer or smoking a cigar or anything like that. That just it's, I don't know. And that's why I love it. And two, and like getting in and connecting with other people in other industries or other life.
Countries.
And then countries. And you run into these people and you're like, or you just make connections with people. Like I love it. It's awesome. And just gives me something to talk about, look forward to. I don't know. And then that's kind of like why we did the show. It's just like us. We were just sitting around and we were all in person at the card shop, BSing them. So,
yeah, for me, cards have always been like, kind of this timeline of my life. I always attach cards to certain memories in my life, certain years, because we know the designs and what exact year that was. We can associate certain memories with it. So for me, it's been like a walking timeline. And it's also been, it's kind of been something that I've, acquired, this secret knowledge, if you will, because it's not like it's an open thing that a lot of us talk about with a bunch of people who don't collect, at least not until recently. So it's nice to be able to connect with, folks like you guys, online and share this like secret passion.
When I was growing up, I was very shy and awkward, and it cracks my wife up because she doesn't see the shyness in me because that's not who I am today. But being picked last because I was always the shortest, and not being the coolest kid in class, and being able to come home and have something that you could rely on. And my baseball cards were kind of like my best friend. They were always there. They were kind of like that cuddly teddy bear that was ragged and old. But you know what? I'm not throwing it away because it's mine. And it gives us a sense of joy and that connection to when we were younger. And, it's something that is cathartic and that we have a shared passion with other individuals. And we speak our own language. And it's kind of neat to be able to go onto Twitter or, call somebody up and just say, hey, dude, let's just talk about cards,
Yeah.
So
No,
what you're saying is that, the only thing that hasn't changed since then is that you still can't get on the roller coaster rides?
Oh, dude.
And
he opens up, he's sensitive, and you just jab him.
Is this not the coolest and creepiest thing?
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have seen these across the timeline, where they morph the face so that it moves as if
I'm already
it were
annoyed by it.
Yeah, no, that's weird.
Not for me.
It just feels like he's staring at you.
There's a lot of negativity in the hobby, and I know last week at the very end of the show we're trying to change it a little bit to positive. And once again, I want to remind everybody because it's really fun. This Saturday, March 6th at noon Eastern, I'm going to host a Zoom call. We have a Twitter DM group. Anybody wants to be added to it, great. We'll drop the link in there at 9 a.m. Pacific. You're welcome to hop in for a few minutes and come say hi. Last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, we had 4 or 5 people for about an hour and a half. Last time, I think we had like 15. So if you can hop in and say hi for a few minutes, great. If not, hey, definitely understand. Try to make these a semi-regular thing because it's just fun. Just like right now, the 4 of us are talking, and yes, it's for the podcast and it's being recorded. And this is just going to be not recorded, just a bunch of people hanging out, talking about whatever topic. If we get something if Uncle Rich hops on, he usually has something to kind of guide a conversation. But really, it's just have a cup of coffee, have a cigar, have some lunch, talk about cards. You're at LCS, show us what they got.
Yeah. Guys, any final thing?
Be
Oh,
fun.
sorry.
No, that was it. I had that, and I also want to share a mail day before we hop
Yeah,
on.
go ahead.
I have two myself.
Go
Okay,
ahead, guys.
just real quick, Robert, one of our loyal listeners at Astro World Sport sent me, when I say a stack of A's cards, he sent me a stack of A's cards that he had laying around. Just a couple of the highlights real quick was the cloth patch, the iconic cloth patch of Ricky Henderson from Series 1 and a 2018 Jose Canseco auto. I can't begin to thank him enough. I was not he told me the Henderson, but the Canseco auto and a couple of other things that were in there, tremendous. So, I mean, a million thank yous. And anything I don't need, I will definitely find a new home for, because that's really what it is, pay it forward. And so I can't thank him enough for the generosity and kindness.
So I have two. One for my work, some random strays that I've picked up, if you will. Not cats, because I already have 3 of those. But one, Jake Maurer, 02 Bowman. Not Joe.
Joe?
Out of my price market. But it is technically a base card in that set. This showed up. It's the gold parallel out of 50 for under $20. So, hey, free. The solo version, sure. But then also some oddball. So, like the 77, 78 pen emblems, Rod Carew.
Those are really similar to those patch cards that Topps has had the last couple of releases.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you flip it around? Is it just blank on the back?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. They're stitched through.
So they're stitched through where these ones have, I mean, you can see the back on this one, but not in the same capacity as you can see that. I mean, you can see the outline of Henderson. Those 78, those ones are a lot cooler.
And then the second
what are those
one,
called?
77, 78 pen, PENN, emblems. It's actually the name of the company. The company still exists for what it's worth, but I think they're based out of Pennsylvania, hence the name. But two, and speaking of going back to childhood, which is going to kill you guys, but went to lunch with Uncle Rich, and a good friend of ours was been meeting us as well at a local joint here in up in Allen, and he told me previously that he'd picked up a lot of some baseballs and bats and autographed stuff that he enjoys, but he said that he found a Twins ball that he wanted me to identify the players for, and he said he knew it would obviously go to a good home. So 2004 spring training roster with the numerical guys on the bottom, and the ball's littered with autographs. However, some that I've identified, my first signature, Joe Mays, caught him after a game in '99. Tom Kelly, Brian Buchanan, Justin Morneau before he wore the number 33.
That's cool.
And then on this side, you've got previously mentioned Jake Maurer, Terry Tiffy, Unknown, Tony Oliva, and Joe Mauer.
I think Unknown's going to have a really good career.
That's kind of a killer ball.
It's the A's player to be named later.
That's awesome.
Amongst those I missed JD Durbin, Matt Guerrero, Henry Blanco, Rob Bowen, Boof Bonzer, and Matt LaCroix. Brad Thomas.
Hey, real quick, I don't know, and I don't know if I missed this, and I don't know who this could be on Twitter. I received this box today, and I've opened it. I haven't gone through it yet. But the cards I did see, there was some like Hosmer rookies and stuff. It came from a Jay Terry in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm not sure who that is on Twitter or if they listen to the show. But please reach out to me, let me know, because I'm going to go through this tonight, and I wanted to thank you, but I wanted to get that out there because like I honestly, if we did something, I forgot, and I don't, and I'm old, so I want to give you the proper credit. So thank you very much. I'm going to go through that tonight, but I wanted to bring that up before we left. Mr. Hobby Icon, Cardboard Icons. Mr. Ben, do you have anything before we head out tonight?
Yeah, I finally got my Topps boxes that I ordered on release date. They got stuck in Ohio for almost 10, 12 days because of the weather stuff. But before we came on the show, my son and I opened one of the hobby boxes, and in the very last pack, it is Tim Anderson Platinum 101. Very last pack.
That's awesome.
Which is kind of cool because it's going to go with the 2013 Bowman paper, first Bowman Tim Anderson 101 that I pulled on November 26th of 2013. Oh, you can't probably get read that because my camera sucks. But anyway, so now we both have 101s. His is signed, mine isn't. And then on top of that, I've got Tim Anderson's first hit by pitch. So
Nice.
I'm a dork.
My thing is that I love how you date, like when you pull something. Like I'm too far gone at this point. But I love it.
This is the added value of Twitter, is because I share so much bullshit on Twitter. It's like, hey, cool, I can just search my handle and a random player name, and it'll pop up. So I can kind of retroactively and go do that. It's kind of cool.
For me, it'd be eBay purchase April 11th and May 12th. This one,
don't ever go back and look at your eBay history purchases too, because sometimes they
or sales, or
look at the Amazon account. I made the mistake of downloading the 2020 Amazon report. 1.13 deliveries a day.
Wow. I think with my parents, we're probably about the same.
Yeah. So I don't complain because the cards come too. Remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
On YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. You can always follow us on Twitter about the cards. You can always follow Ben Aguirre at Cardboard Icons. And if you're not, like, what are you doing? You can always follow Ben Wilson at our trading cards. So always follow Steph at Junk Wax Twins. And follow me at Big Shep 79. Please share hobby stories, great polls. Send your questions our way and keep collecting. We'll talk to you all next week.